Stay alive. 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 Rappers like a savage, schizophrenia fun. Have you ever seen a skeleton and breathe with no lungs? All ribs, no tongue, steady bumping on his gums like they cocaine numb. The ungrateful sons that take shit from none. Red rum, come and get you some. Out the lake I come, the ocean depths. I rose some less, turn ghost to flesh. A skull with no nose that got smoke for breath. Come close to death and appreciate life. Cause it might be tonight that you walk to the light and meet the great judge. Cause law don't make love. A bat plus the dove equals OJ's glove. Yo, shit ain't organic, it don't come from the mud. Become gigantic when they think that you're young. Slave ship Titanic, the prodigal one on an impossible run. Unlocking a ton from an Antarctica dungeon. Regardless, the heartless is always running. Fuck that smart shit, I'ma keep it 100. Just in case you was wondering, we come for the hunting. Now ain't that something? When slaves dig their own grave all in a day. Gold teeth for the skull, cause we gonna stay paid. Yes, stump the cane, the top hat gon' play. For the lost souls that need home, come this way. So shall I say, stay alive. 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 A wizard and gentleman, I'm Pippin O'Gilligan. The Indian, Caribbean, the lizard, amphibian. You come for the rum, for the sugar and cinnamon. But the soul is the gold, just the secret ingredient. And I bet you can't see me in a thin whirlwind. Make your wife my girlfriend, onyx and pearl skin. A vulture and pelican, alligator shoes on, call me reptilian. My culture American, my diamond Sicilian. When it's French, it's French, at death's expense. Set your spirit on fire, then your heart's content. Can't start no shit, it won't make no sense. The poltergeist defense, don't leave no prints. Just give me the mint, the abundance is redundant, I must admit. Only fatting the pig, so it don't get split. I'm a witch doctor, African and Celtic. The meek will inherit the earth until you perish the dirt. This is the state of the art, my nigga, cherish your work. Never embarrassed because it's the dark I lurk. This is Vlad the Impaler, the Ottoman Turk. Shaka Zulu Part 2, just a rebirth. Some of you need church because you breathe your curse. Be thankful for what you got, it could be a lot worse. We all raising it to hell, who gonna be first? The atmosphere my third. Stay alive. 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 Hard, hard, hard. Never sold my soul to the devil, but I can say you his. Welcome to Dante's America, where the demons live. Can you tell me the difference between the snake and the rib? We take the witches to the stake just because of Eve's bid. I got nothing to give, cause there's something to take. I plot my escape while drinking fermented grapes. The undead, the Dracula, the bat with the cape. Can't see the execution, the space where lurky smiles or sobs. Do not bungle the job, you might trouble the mob. They will have you for lunch, anybody gets touched. The prostitutes don't clutch, and the ghosts stay hutch. I move smoothly for the booty, need my gold in a plush. So welcome, hear ye, come one, come all. This the last of days, masquerading death at the ball. Watch a dragon, so the sky and breathe fire alive because the wolf don't crawl. Yes, the eagle is law. We hunt the feeble and small. I'm not speaking to y'all. This is silence and secrecy. Providing the mystery. Right story about victory. My blunt stay hickory. Bitch niggas can get with me. Not only OG, you know that shit ain't on history, nigga. Fuck it. I catch a traitor's head in a bucket. I'm never trusted. My sword is never rusted. I'm plagued with the disgusted. Amazed and I love it. Guns blazed at the summit. Gargoyle, who won it? Survive fights with lights, so watch your eyes turn bright. Keep your rosary beats for things that bumper tonight. Cause even saints face the tank for a piece of the bank. We all moving up ranks with these double-edged shanks. This is pirate and plank with song and strong drink. How long will fate take with bad success and good mistakes? We all gotta wait for the black or pearly gates. I was never early or late. The right don't debate. No, I won't hesitate. Rip his nose off his face, put his head on the plate. Then I'll boil it with dates. They'll taste checkmate and then we all say grace.
Yo, sound now? We got sound now? Everything is good? What? The fuck? Why is everybody saying it's on mute? Okay, y'all can hear me now. You can hear me now, right? Okay, yeah, you can hear me. Okay, good. So, yeah, my bad about that. But like I stated, appreciate for everybody showing up on this Monday. We got a week ahead of us. We got the Halloween coming up and whatnot. I see some people getting ready to go down there to New Orleans and whatnot, and I guess get involved with the supernatural, the esoteric, the occult, which you're not going to get any esoteric or occult understanding on the Western side of things until you get the kicked out of heaven. Now, the kicked out of heaven isn't directly explaining things of the occult world. Well, I mean, it does in volume 3 when we get into the explanations of all the symbology of Halloween and what's originally called Samhain is the name for it. But what it really does is it gives you the spirit of the darkness is what's in the literature, not necessarily what to do with these symbols or what to do with this magic ritual and all of that other shit. That's not how magic works. The root definition to magic is to alter one's perception, and that's all you're doing. So as long as somebody can get you to think a new way, magic has been conducted on you, because that's basically what a magician does. He shows you a hat that's empty, then your brain reads it as empty, then he pulls a rabbit out of it. So he has changed the perception of what you have perceived as a reality. And that's what the root definition of magic is. What October 31st is a date on the calendar of witchcraft. And this date is specifically it was recognized in all ancient civilizations and tribes. Let me see here. So I was actually born on one of those dates inside the witchcraft calendar, which is August 1st, the night before it, August 1st to August 2nd. Yeah, Samhain is one of the 4 greater Sabbats. Yeah. And the one I was born on is it starts with a L. Let me see if I can get the name real quick. Lugnasad. Let me see here. I think that's it. Is the name of the date. You know. Let me see. So if we got any questions about Halloween, you can go ahead and shoot them now. Um, Let me see here. Yeah, it's Lugnasada or Lunacy is the date of August 1st. That's the one I was born on. I mean, August, I'm August 2nd. So the day right after it still contains that energy. So I was born on a witchcraft night. That's why, it's simple for me to um, compose this material and handle the energies that goes on with the dark side of things. Does Halloween, somebody posed a question here. And like I stated, if there's any questions about Halloween, you can go ahead and shoot them now. I might crack open the book and give some explanations of some things. Yeah. Does Halloween really upstage Christmas? Upstage. What do we mean by upstage? Is it better than, or is it is that what you're asking? Um when we say upstage, what do you mean? To put a better clarification down here, and I'll definitely respond to the question. But Halloween is, a night. The Samhain is October 31st, and what this night is that was recognized by all the civilizations and tribes is a night where the walls in between the dimensions is really thin, and they're so thin that beings from the other dimensions can come into our world. And that's why we wear masks and costumes. It is to confuse them on what world they're in. So they can't necessarily lay a direct attack or attachment to us in this realm. So all of the makeup and the masks and the costumes are actually a defense mechanism, because everything is war, whether we like it or not. Dealing with the spirit world, it's war. Dealing with the racial world, it's war. Dealing with man and woman in the same home, it ends up being war. um Let me see here. um Halloween, I'm gonna approach both of these questions. What's the connection with clowns and Halloween? Clowns don't really have a connection with Halloween directly. Clowns are at birthday parties. Clowns are in a lot of different locations, and clowns are basically a sense of freedom. As clowns definitely evolved out of the status of the jester in combination with what you want to call the mockery of the Sambo and the minstrel that was going down in early America. It's a combination of both, and you can see that with the lips and also the wearing of the shoes, in which tap dancing was a very big thing for those who were in minstrel theater and whatnot. So and then we have the jester that comes from old Europe, medieval times, and that's where we get the attire from. The clothing that was worn by the jester has a lot of different symbologies and definitions to it. So it all depends on what region of old Europe we're talking about, and if we're going to get detailed on the attire of the jester. And the curling of the shoes definitely comes from the Krakow shoes, which are designed specifically to kill roaches. And the bells that were put on shoes, or bells that are put on hats, are come from torture devices in old Europe that were put on criminals that had to maintain a status in the public. So certain crimes that were committed, specifically crimes that quote unquote disturb the peace, you would be put inside. You would be, have a cage put on your head or something of that matter, and what they call this cage was the scold's brittle or the branks. And there was also certain shoes that would be put on thieves that were definitely put on the fire until it was red, and then they put it on your foot, and then there would also be spikes in the heel so that every time you step down, the spikes would go inside the heel of your foot. And those shoes are also decorated with bells. I can show you a picture of it. I think I got one here. That was in this one. And the bells are put on torture devices so other people can be aware that you're coming in their direction. So, you can no longer, because a thief has to move in a status of secrecy and silence. Okay. So you cannot move like that when you have been caught. So, and the bell would definitely aware people that you are in the vicinity. Okay. So let me see here if I can find this shoe real quick. So that's definitely what was going on with the bells that you see on the clown attire of today. All right. Now, the dressing of red, and the red actually goes back to the old gestures of old Europe, and they would definitely be a symbol of blood and awareness, and it would excite people. As we read in the Dancing Plague, the colors red, green, black, and yellow would excite people into maybe even seizures, because epilepsy and having seizures was very big back then, and that's part of the reason why they got down with the whole status of drinking blood, because blood was supposedly was thought to heal. Okay, I don't have it in here. I think it's in one of my other books. I'm not going to go through all of that though. Is definitely to what was I saying about the dancing plague? Yeah, those colors, red, black, green, and yellow, excite people into, oh yeah, the epilepsy. And then the epilepsy was thought to be cured by the drinking of blood. The drinking of blood of criminals is definitely different than what they would use so-called virgin blood or baby blood for. You know what I'm saying? They were used for different things. So let me see what we have here. There's a lot of questions being asked. Okay. We're going to... Halloween parties are bigger than Christmas parties. Yeah, that is very true. And there's truth to that statement. And the reason being is because, Halloween permits freedom. Humans have a weird inclination, where it's not really a weird inclination. What it really is getting high. It's euphoric. For, there's a little spice on the nerves that happen when you do the evil arts. I mean, maybe because you're not supposed to be doing them and you are biologically wired to be moral. But then, due to the way the human is designed, you can definitely give them a certain type of experience rate before they get of the teenage age range. And they will definitely be wired to do evil shit and won't feel anything from it. But then again, in order to repetitively do it, there is some type of rush or euphoria that's being felt. And humans have never been able to live in a paradigm of being socially free. We've always had an area of consequence that will occur if you commit certain acts, and especially how you commit those acts. Animals don't live in that format. Animals can rip the guts out of anything, and they have to do this in order to survive. They have to do some of the most, what we would classify as immoral acts in order to survive. It's a part of the designation of who they are. you know, and humans want to feel that freedom. So they do it in these things called the masquerade. And they'll put on the mask and they do the debauch, and they do the debauch in the room with a bunch of individuals who are also wearing masks and doing the debauch. And the wearing of the mask is actually to hide from the ethers and also to hide from other individuals in the room that you can conduct the immoral. Okay. So, a lot of people do that. Um, What's the connection between the Day of the Dead and All Hallows Day? All Hallows Day is the same thing as Halloween, Samhain, and the Day of the Dead. I think you're referring to the Mexican Day of the Dead thing. There really is the connection is that all humans are uh, fascinated by the dead. Okay, it doesn't matter what time period you look at. It doesn't matter what tribe, what race, what group, what religious creed. When you look at religion, for instance, in Christianity, the most potent symbol that is used the most is Jesus on the cross. He is in the status of death. He is in the status of suffering and pain. And this is what humans are fascinated by, because they don't know what's after it. The true fascination of humans with death is a status of perfection, is what people don't get. Death is actually a status of perfection. And how let me explain a little further here. What that means is that death cannot be disturbed. You see, the dead body, um it no longer has to deal with processing food. It no longer has to deal with the status of being hungry. It no longer has to deal with paying bills, no longer has to deal with any form of social frustration and arguments that may occur. And they do not have to think about anything in the status of monetary, money, or what's going on with war, what's going on with politics. There is none of that, you know. And then, if you have loved well during the course of your life, you will be praised and you will be mourned after, um, when your funeral occurs. And if you are truly loved, then people will visit your grave. But then after a certain amount of time, everybody that you knew that is still alive, once you have crossed over, will also die. So then, when all the people that knew you died, you are erased from existence in the psychological facet. Okay. And your story and all your data will be loaded into the ethers. Okay, is how that works. Okay, especially if you've done something that was large, you know and affected a mass amount of humans. For instance, when we say, Amen Ra, or you say King James, or you say, King Robert the Third, or whatever the case, these individuals, even a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X, these people still live psychologically in existence. They are still, in essence, alive, you know. But when it comes to the physicality of it, they're in the status of perfection because they are complete. You see, no human is complete until their day is gone, until their day arrives. You dig what I'm saying? So that's what that is. That's what the Day of Dead is, and why it has significance amongst all cultures. All people are fascinated by it because they also know that one day they're going to have to cross into the same zone, and there is a fear, there is an excitement. We don't truly know what is after that status, um, and there is no proof that there is anything after that status. Um, what we do know is what nature will take place, and your body will corrode, and you will have the worms in you, and the flies will come. Okay, and you will turn into a manure, a mulch, if you will, to assist the growth of further plants, and then over time, within that, you will evaporate into the air and be, like I stated earlier, apart with the ethers. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. Let me see here. Okay. All Hallows Eve and Halloween the same. Um, and would that make November 1st a holiday if it's a eve? No, November 1st is All Saints Day. And the reason why All Saints Day is right after Halloween is so we can, you know, have our military there in the spiritual format to block all of the evil ones from whatever dimension they come from coming into this realm and affecting the people and adjusting how people think and how people operate. And we've definitely seen that over the years. You know, we are definitely looking at um, a spiritual downloading that has occurred that where people do not um have self-control because they don't know that spirits are operating them, and basically it's a form of parasite, if you will, and have people making very bad decisions, self-destructive decisions, and also will destroy those who come near them, and that's just what's going on. And because we don't have any true religious understanding, um and the only reason I say that is because that's where the information is concealed at. We don't um know how to properly identify what is good and what is bad for us in our social paradigm, and in our socialism is where these things go to war at. So that is the true motherboard to your manifesting, or becoming successful in entrepreneurism, or just being able to maintain your life. It's all going to be based into the words that you use, the words that people use towards you, and the words that are in your life. Okay. And this is definitely going to be relative to movies and music. Okay. So anybody who watches horror movies or watches true crime and all of this other type of shit, and serial killer movies and the Jeffrey Dahmer and all of that shit, keep a line with those type of individuals. Keep the conversation short. Don't ever procreate with a woman who has filled her body with a bunch of drill music, drill rap, or a bunch of horror movies, or because people always talk about the food intake, and you are what you eat, but you are what you see. So you have to watch out about the vision download that occurs. So uh let's talk about this real quick. The brother Gene Cole came in, appreciate it. Nobody has beat him on the donations yet, so we're definitely playing a friendly competition here on who's the boss around here when it comes to the donations. And I definitely need them right now. It's the end of the month. We stacking up, and remember I got all the books for sale as well. That's the Kicked Out of Heaven, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the Black Man's Bible, the Ethereal Law, and the Real Nigga Etiquette. You get it all for $100 with the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women for free. Okay. So the brother stated here, you stated the European graveyard is bestowed on the black community and we are not aware of it. Does this explain why the ratchet culture is here and glorified pimps, dope fiends, or strippers? Okay, that's a very good question. So let's entertain it. Now, when I say the European graveyard, I was talking about specifically the words. Once again, let's go there. And you did use one of the words that is frequent, a fiend. A fiend in medieval Europe is actually a form of ghost. Okay. And this is the spirit that is inside of what we used to call dope fiends or crackheads. Okay. And it is a consistent a high level of anxiety, as I just encountered some information earlier, which stating that the root of anxiety is the status of trying to be perfect. And that is definitely what we see um within the operation of a fiend. A fiend comes, tries to be nice for a second, tries to give you something, and then they disappear. You don't know when they're going to reappear. When they reappear, they try to reappear with something new. They're trying to always incorporate some form of sympathy or charity coming out of you with their status of begging, so on and so forth. Now, when it comes to strippers and pimps really aren't a symbol of death. In the black community, the pimp is actually the individual who has accepted the rules of Western, and we're talking about etiquette pimps. We're not talking about your lower level gorilla pimping. Okay, we're talking about etiquette pimps who come with class and demeanor, and these individuals who understand and have responded to the status of neglect that a lot of women feel. And we're talking about neglect, and the type of women we're talking about being neglected are little girls in orphanages, girls who have been ignored by their parents, but still live at home. Their mothers have neglected them, or even their mothers have tried to pimp them out, which is very real. And we're also talking about the females who are just alone, and they're alone because there hasn't been a high level of attention given to them by men. And if they do, the men just come into their life only to use them for not only their body but maybe even their finances and things of that nature. And they don't get adventure out of these men and things of that nature. And not only that, these men are usually men who work in industries of construction and garbage men and things of that nature, and they don't have a true upkeep of fashion and style, and good with their words and things of that nature. So the pimp really isn't a symbol of death or part of the European graveyard. Okay, the European graveyard, the European culture or Western culture has designed what a pimp was way before America was even established. Okay, there's records of pimps in the 1600s. Okay, and that was all in medieval Europe. Okay, now a stripper is a sign of death, as orgasms is a sign of is death, a form of death. Okay, and the strippers are, and also strippers were a form of vagabond. I can actually show you that if you want to. Let's go into the Kicked Out of Heaven and read what the vagabond stripper was. Okay, because strippers were a form of hustler in old Europe. Okay, and then we're gonna read about them right now. Let me see here. Let me see what we got. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's called, you see, the crazies and strippers. Let's read what a stripper was. The crazies and strippers relied on the love of starring that characterized the inhabitants of small towns. Okay, who were offered very little distraction by the ecclesiastical and municipal authorities. The crazy behaved as if she were a lunatic, and accordingly adopted indecent attitudes and exposed parts of her person, giving the onlookers to understand that such pledges could be redeemed at nightfall for due payment. The stripper went in for less strenuous methods by simply exhibiting herself, got up as a shabby waif, practically nude, on the steps of a church until someone posing as overcome by charitable feelings signed to her to follow him. Okay. They crammed the highways with primitive tumult and the unrest of the rootless. Jews and gypsies contributed Oriental subtly. Persons displaced by the endless wars of the Middle Ages and deserters from feudal duties added to the common stock of resources the tricks and subterfuges learned by the cunning of peasants during centuries of servitude. Everyone had his own specialty, and the women and and girls, in addition, had their own persons, which they used as trump cards when high stakes were in prospect. So basically, the crazies and the strippers. So being a stripper is also connected with being crazy. You're out here showing your ass in the middle of the street, and sometimes they would put certain things in their mouth, like like an Alka Seltzer, and make it look like they're foaming at the mouth, and somebody would act like they care so much and give her some change, and then, sign to, give her the location to come to, and she shows up at your house to give the wares in the midst of the night. You understand? So, yeah, that's definitely what it is. And when it comes to a European graveyard, yeah, the black community is definitely in that status: European graveyard or African graveyard. Anything that does not move or excel is essentially dead. Anything that does not show movement. Okay. So we've shown movement in the area we can gain finances, but that has been a status since the 1950s. If we were to go to from the 1950s all the way to now, Negroes have had a lot of money. We've had billions and trillions of dollars, and we've done nothing for any form of self reliance, government wise. Even if it was to come down to food and other resources, we cannot provide to each other. We are not psychologically fit to do it, because if we were, we would have done it by now. We've definitely had the money to do it. You dig what I'm saying? So that's not, so we're basically in a status of stagnation. We are not moving, you see? Um, Yeah, so that's just what the case is. Now I was just reading one of the statements. If y'all got any questions, you can go ahead and pose them. But yeah, that was pretty wild. You reach for the crazies and the strippers, and yeah, the strippers are right there. It's a part of Western culture. You cannot beat the stereotypes that are designed for Western culture. You will be involved. Me myself, I've definitely tried to stay outside of the spider web that Western civilization has designed for us all when it comes to falling into the space of the stereotype, or falling into the social requirements to maintain a job. And these things are supposed to, quote unquote, professionalize you as an adult, so you can be able to better survive and thrive out here in this world, you know. But they operate with rules inside their household that we do not necessarily consider, that those rules are being laid to their children, and they operate underneath the certain guys, and the men specifically, white males, have organized with each other on what are the better rules of maintaining their households, and um, putting them in a position of growth. They've done that amongst themselves, and they have not given those rules to anybody else, of any other group. So we've had to discover how to do that ourselves, and we're going to do it through trial and error. To be honest, the way they got it set up is really a finite zone. But the whole thing is native brains have this thing of perfection, and this thing of we're holier than you, and we'll never dibble and dabble in the dark side of things, when the dark side of things actually rules this existence. There's been many religions on this planet, and there's been many gods worshipped in those religions. And when people scream for their God, nobody arrives. Nobody has arrived yet. It's been thousands and thousands of years, and you've been forgotten. So the entities that are here that have provided the intelligence for you to construct a smartphone or a computer or a car, or even the invention of the wheel, for that matter, comes from beings that are outside of the realm of what you want to call morally correct and sound. These beings don't have anybody controlling them, and because they have rescinded and were the first, revolutionaries of what we want to call heaven. Okay. And the main reason they're a revolutionary is because they do not, they're not going to bow to something that is of a lesser value than them. And I mean, that is logically sound, but then in the space of loving and caring and being selfless, that is not the situation. You have to be selfless in order to bow to a being that is of a lesser value than you. Okay. So let me see here. I don't, you posed a question, but it's not thoroughly a question. Do women who celebrate Halloween past a certain age are damaged? No. I mean, bro, and it's funny you said it like that. I'm gonna go ahead and go in on that, bro. You live in America. You speak English. You were raised underneath the culture of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. Have fun and enjoy the holiday, okay? Because the human will always need some form of alleviation for, and they do this alleviation in the form of celebration, whether it comes from being inebriated, being intoxicated off of liquor or any other drug, or being an excess eater. It all boils down to your euphoria feel or your high feel that you get off your nervous system. You are in America. Black people have no racial support. We've never had racial support. They don't have racial support in Africa right now. That's the largest continent on the earth. And the tribes out there don't have racial support from their own neighboring tribes and countries and so on and so forth. When you look at bacteria, when you look at the beings in the water, the aquatic beings, when you look at, the land animals, when you look at the reptile, you understand. When you look at the air kingdom, okay, and we're talking about the birds, the black race is the only race amongst all of these beings, including the insect kingdom. Can't forget them, that doesn't have any racial support. You have no racial support, and if you did have racial support that was sound, every single quote unquote revolutionary system would have survived and would have met their mission statement. And they did not achieve what they claimed to achieve, that they wanted to achieve, their goals, for instance. So that's everybody from Marcus Garvey all the way up to now. Everybody has been a failure. It's been failure after failure after failure after failure after failure. It's been a bunch of failures, bro. So you might as well enjoy the Halloween, enjoy the Christmas, enjoy the Thanksgiving, because the Negro can't replace that joy. Okay? The Negro is only going to go out here and try to be argumentative and, erase people's joy from what they're doing. And, they're having their event with their family. Don't try to disrupt that. Go ahead and get yourself involved, because you have no support line from a black race to recreate a Halloween or to recreate a Thanksgiving, we don't even recognize Kwanzaa. And supposedly Kwanzaa was designed by a federal agent. Okay, we've been getting chased down by police and federal agents for the longest. So to be angry is all you're doing is expressing anger, and then by default that automatically makes you the dark one. You are the evil one. You understand? You see, like, you can't strip a person's Jesus from them. You think you can, and you want to try to show all the truth and all of this. And what you don't realize is that the Christian that you're trying to argue with and do all this extra explanation with, is that all they see is the foam collecting at the side of your mouths, and they see the horns growing from your forehead while you're trying to disrupt their joy that they have found, whether they call it Jesus or whatever. and they want to celebrate their Christmas and open up presents underneath the Christmas tree with their family in pajamas and all of that. Allow that. Your disruption is a nothingness, because your culture can't recreate it. And all of the explaining and the fucking the vein popping out of your forehead is basically is you're trying to strip their joy away from them. So stop trying to strip away their happiness. That's just basically what it is. For instance, when it comes to my material, and that's one thing I had to understand clearly when I wrote the third volume. And in the third volume, I approached the Jesus situation. And yeah, there's his tunic and there's his, his crown of thorns, and there's a little piece of wood from the cross, and these things are sanctified. These things are the sacraments. These things are held held up in the churches to this day as you know a holy, I'm thinking of the word. No, let me see here. Not effigy, but I think it starts with the E. Yeah, you see all of this, the royal hand and whatnot. Yeah, the relics. These are relics. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, you're not going to disrupt anything, you know. And so why even try? You just look angry. There is no look. Go ahead and get your children a costume. Let them go get some candy with their friends in school, from school and whatnot. Stop. Anything else is anger. It's really that simple. So trying to prove that a Jesus wasn't real or that a Halloween wasn't real, you're only expressing anger, and that's how the people will look at you, because they're going to continue to worship whatever the hell they worship, because that's what they like to do. You understand how that works? So there's no point in it, because the Negro ain't finna replace it. And you don't have any system that you can design that's going to be put down in a format where everybody is going to gather together, eat food, and sing songs, and all of this other stuff. Like the homie said right here, don't save them. They don't want to be saved. You can't save them. Save them to what? That's the whole thing. The Negro has not provided no system of perfection, or no system of um you know no greater system of cultural operation, where we are looking towards the positives and we stomp upon the negatives. Okay, the Negro hasn't designed that. you know as a matter of fact, it nowhere in history. you know I mean, you could take little elements of ancient Egypt, but we don't thoroughly know how they were living day by day. We don't know what their celebrations was, and that's what made me really, after studying so many cultures and tribes or civilizations or whatever, they all have celebrations, and all of these celebrations were aligned to movements within the stars. Okay, and these celebrations were done underneath one guy's appreciation. That's why that people pray, worship the sun, because the sun gave them food. Okay, and the sun is what kept the plants going to give them food. So it was done underneath the space of appreciation, and that's what giving of a gift is. When it comes to Christmas, it's done underneath the guise of appreciation. Me specific, I don't even, even when it comes to the dating scene and dealing with women have been taught that they don't have to appreciate shit. So I'm like, nigga, I'm very off on that, because I'm very serious on appreciating, the things that I've had and the things that I've earned. And you have to maintain them, and you have to maintain these things with, fierce defense. And you also have to go out there with your offense, and you have to go out there and try to attain as many things as possible for the children that you've born. If you're biologically sound and have procreated, a lot of people have not. And a lot of people don't choose to. I wouldn't advise anybody to have a baby, or to have any children in this day and age. There's a lot of new things on the planet that has never been here before, and we are very confused on how to deal with these things, on how to accept these things, and we're confused about what the future is of these things because these elements, technology, robots, the new diseases, or what's going on with how our grocery stores get food and the food being raised and all of that other shit is not in our hands. We have no say over the control of these things, and we don't know, we can't oversee how they're being produced or none of that. So we're in a very confusing state that has never occurred before on this planet. I wouldn't advise anybody to have any children in this day and age. It's not sound, it's not conducive. It's just like looking at the whole presidential thing. And I didn't really look at it, but there was a couple of things that popped up out of the bowels and the depths of the water, and started floating atop that I had to consider. So one thing is, the whole Kamala Harris thing. So I was looking at some of the poster board things that they was holding up, Kamala in walls, and then when you turn it around, it says trust women. Okay. And I'm looking at that like, yo, are these niggas crazy? Like, this is one of those situations where you do a bunch of shit and you don't consider the things that you do and how they affect people. So after 10, 20 years of watching all of these divorces go down, everything from Jeff Bezos to all of this crazy shit with Diddy, and notice how you don't see Diddy in the news lately. They want us to trust women. From all of the personal stories that we got with our homies and all of the divorce court shit that they've been through, and then the whole BBL bullshit that was going down for a couple of years, and the robbing and the whole, trying to, every girl thinks that she could just float around here and go from hotel to hotel being a whore in every city and dodge the responsibility of bills because they go to the fucking hotel rooms and they're not paying no electricity bill, no water bill. They ain't got to pay no trash and all of that shit. They just go get a room and then they go get on them they take an Uber to the airport and then go to another city and just be hoeing around. It's a big spider web internet system going on nationwide of whores flying here from there, dodging all levels of responsibility, and then at the same time trying to rob their so-called johns or their tricks or whatever. And they want us to, and they know out of that guilt trip and all of these bad actions that they have to put trust women on the back of the thing because they know you've destroyed it completely. It's completely destroyed. And I can't, and I'm not stating that as if men don't commit bad acts on women, which is most likely true. um but I don't experience that, so I don't know what you're seeing or the stories that you have. But I've heard a lot of stories, that each side has reasoning for why they're acting in the way they're acting, both male and female. You know what I'm saying? But it's disgusting. What are we going to do in order to heal it, in order to fix it? And you know, basically wounds are self-healing, you know. So if you want to look at that aspect of it, but then at the same time, major wounds have to be healed with assistance, hence a doctor or a nurse. So since we have major wounds here, the only person who can actually heal the wound that was caused was the gender that that created the wound. Okay. So you definitely got to look at that. Running and the whole element of running is not going to fix any one thing with the problems that we have today. And then I saw this other shit, and this is a clear example on why I don't vouch for anybody, why I don't, so-called link with anybody or shit like this, is because of what you just saw with Trump. I don't believe Trump has a racist bone in his body. Let me say that. I don't believe that. There's not too much evidence of it. Even if there is evidence of it, I don't know. I stand with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is defensive of Trump. That's just where it is. But he put this fucking comedian up, who I've seen this comedian before, but he doesn't have a real strong name as a comedian, like say a Steve Harvey or even a Jerry Seinfeld or whatever. This guy gets up on the stage and does a bunch of racist jokes. Now, this is not the place for the bullshit. For number one. For number two, the presidency or voting for a president is not a laughing matter. So he shouldn't have had even a comedian is, the last individual that you should have been putting up there. You know, um, Hollywood stars are conflicted on who to support or who to back or whatever. And then, I mean, you had a bunch of people show up to the Kamala situation because they thought Beyonce was going to be given a free concert, and that's not what occurred. And a lot of people left um, during the rally because Beyonce didn't sing. So it's terrible. The shit that just happened. I they had a good campaign thing going. You did the McDonald's thing, that was good. You did the showing up at a lot of different places where Kamala was not seen, which was very good. But then you put this fucking prick up here talking this stupid shit, and he definitely took the energy down, you know. And Trump should have immediately got up on that stage and denounced that idiot, because even though he does do comedy with black comedians and they throw racist jokes at each other, so I guess he was conformed to that style of comic work, but it was not the environment for you to do that. And like I've stated a million times, you don't know who has self-control, you don't know who has etiquette, you don't know who knows how to be a chameleon and know how to operate with the environment at that time. You know what I'm saying? 300,000. Yeah, this is a fucking dumbass. 300,000 Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania, and this dumbass gets up on stage talking about some Puerto Rico as an island of trash. You know what I'm saying? So, but I know Puerto Ricans, and I'm pretty sure if I was to call my homie right now, who's a Puerto Rican, he'll be like, yeah, it's fucking trash down there. You know what I'm saying? But everybody doesn't, when you're dealing with the native doesn't have eyeballs of reality. Their brain isn't wired to say things for what it is. Native people, just like women, they want to say things in a space to make you feel good or for them not to be seen within. So they're not basing things off of explaining the truth or stating what it really is. They're saying things based on trying to remove guilt or remove some form of anger that might evolve out of you or come out of you because of what the reality is. So there's a lot of excuses given and a lot of sideways bullshit talk given, instead of just saying the reality. Can we say Bronx is a floating island of trash? Can we say Brooklyn is a floating island of trash? 9 times out of 10, you could probably say that right now. There's probably trash all in the subways, all on the streets and shit, but they don't want to hear that, and because that's people's home at the same time, you know what I'm saying? And then, but see, here's the fact about the matter. If you don't recognize what the fact is, you don't have a space to grow from, you know? And that's what the reality is. First, you need to recognize the fact that it's trashy and shitty in order for you to clean it up, unless you're just going to stay silent about the matter and end up cleaning it up. But if you stay silent about the matter and end up cleaning it up, you're most likely going to be the only one cleaning it up. You know, other people aren't going to, and then when you say it to the crowd, then people will say, oh, yeah, it is trash. Yeah. Oh, they already over here cleaning it up. Let me go ahead, lead by example type of thing, but then it's just like what I've seen in the What I just saw today with the situation, there was a big fire in the middle of the Walmart, and people are just standing there looking at it. It's like they don't have no mentality of going to get water to pour on the fire or nothing. They're just standing there looking at the shit. People eat a lot of synthetic foods and their brains are just knocked off. So definitely be careful if your kids are going out there for what I do. Well, I'll say what I do with my sons when they go trick or treating, because my sons have went trick or treating every year. Um, what I do is they can only eat the chocolate ones. Chocolate is good. Even though it's cheap chocolate, you know, even though, yeah, I've seen those reports about high lead content in chocolate. So, and that was during the course of this year. So they may not get chocolate. We may not eat none of it, but all of that gummy shit and all of that, colored shit and colored candies and all of that shit, throw all that shit away. Don't allow no color dye. But if it's, little Hershey Kiss drops or little Reese's cups, I fuck up the Reese's cups. I ain't even gonna lie. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's chocolate, man. Don't kill people's joy. And we've done that too much in the black culture. As we want to go into this debate realm, we want to go into this, the Jesus ain't this and the devil ain't that and the this and that and who Allah is, and we traveled amongst on the Trail of Tears and who's an Indian and I'm a Moor and don't call me colored. All of that shit is based on stagnating your access to be happy. And it's also stagnating your joy. I don't want no revolutionary girl. She got angry pussy. I don't want angry pussy. I want happy pussy. You dig what I'm saying? And you're not going to get that dealing with, women who are not accepted inside society as a beauty factor. And that's why you got a lot of problems with the whole sexy red shit and all of this other shit. So focus on being happy. This is the holiday season, and in this season, you have the most suicides occur during the course of the year during these months: September, October, November, December. People are already dealing with the chaos of whatever weather may smack us, because and global warming has got to be real, because this is the warmest October I've experienced within the span of 11 years being here in Vegas. So usually the temperature done drop down a little bit, but it's still t-shirt and shorts weather out here. So that's very interesting. But yeah, don't disturb anybody's, happiness. Don't try to fuck up nobody's holiday season with all of your black nothingness rhetoric that will get nowhere. It's not it's counterproductive, it's divisive, it's not productive, it's not in the mentality of unison, and it's not in the mentality of growth. And I definitely want to put that, I'm glad I said that. um it's not. There's nothing there, there's no gain. To be in this hamster's wheel of anger and nonsense is definitely repulsive. It's not, it's counterproductive. And that's one thing that the Kicked Out of Heaven did for me. It definitely put me in the space of the removal of any form of anger, the removal of having hate or anything like that, and to also hit the aura with a sense of professional glow and royalty glow. And that's what you want to operate by. That's how you want your family viewed. And if you're over here trying to fight, and you're fighting, a million people and a million souls both at the same time, you got a 2 million army at you, and you look around and you have nobody in sight because the Negro doesn't have any racial support. You're wasting your time. It's a lot of energy spent, and with this energy being spent, there's nothing to replace the energy. You understand? So, man, be happy with life. Be happy with your children. Go dress up. Go be a fool. That's what it's for. The Feast of the Fools. You understand? Let me see. Is there a specific date for that? Let's look that up. Date for the Feast of Fools. You have to. Oh, actually, that's funny. Look at that. The Feast of Fools developed in the late 12th and early 13th centuries, okay, which they are both thoroughly explained inside the literature. as an elaborate and orderly liturgy for the day of the circumcision. And we're talking about the Jesus' circumcision, basically. So the Feast of Fools is January 1st. Is that's real interesting. So New Year's Day is also the Feast of Fools. And we are all fools here in the white man's world trying to get a dollar bill and trying to goddamn get a mansion. You understand? We don't know what we're doing and we don't know which way the motherfucking pendulum is going to swing. That's in the stock market, that's in the sports book. It doesn't matter what system you operate, you don't know how the things are going to swing. But we do know the swinging is occurring. You dig what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, people have had rough lives. Don't be running up in people's face with your so-called facts and all of your conspiracy theory. That's why I put it in books, and put all the information that I could relative to subjects that people have definitely posed to be confused about. And I also was confused. I learned many things during the course of writing books on certain subjects, specifically the Kicked Out of Heaven and the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women. So, let your girl use the cat filter, the dog filter, or dress up as a cat woman with the ears on, or whatever. Whatever makes you happy, because that is also written inside of our Constitution, is the pursuit of happiness. Okay, that no man is to be interrupted on his pursuit of happiness. Let's see if that what it really says on pursuit of happiness in Constitution. Um. Oh, it's in the Declaration of Independence. Yeah. In the Declaration of Independence, it states that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator and with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay. All men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator. Okay. By their creator. So they already knew that the white man's creator ain't necessarily the same creator as the other motherfuckers on this planet. You dig what I'm saying? So, yeah, in the pursuit of happiness, they put that in the Declaration of Independence. That's what you should be on. That's what everybody should be on. It's very hard to do that nowadays. So, it's a battle. And if there's any battle that's worth fighting, I guess it would definitely be that. Your happiness is going to be based upon your finances. Your money and your sex life is basically the root of happiness for everybody, male, female, whatever. And you know what's so interesting about that is because people say, oh, money is not the root, and money da 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 da. Money is not the root of happiness, and money ain't gonna make you happy. Yes, the fuck money will make you happy. Because let me tell you what happens and why that statement is completely wrong. During the course of your drive to get big finances, which everybody doesn't have that drive, okay? Um, you'll come across people and you say, hey, the puzzle pieces match for us to go ahead and get some money. Let's try to do that. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to do that? Sometimes the person will say, sure, let's go ahead and get on that journey. And then sometimes they'll say, sure, and then they'll crash out on you in the middle of this whole situation. Or when they said sure, it was just an act from the beginning. And some people are going to be very weary what you're talking about with finances because they think that you're going to try to make the money and then rob them. And some people automatically come in with a victim mentality, a victim, because you don't know what's happened to them when you weren't around. So they already have a mentality built up that you're going to try to rob them, you're just looking to fuck somebody over, and this high level anxiety shit. And once again, that anxiety bounces back on the strive of being perfect. So the anxiety invokes in the area of you trying to get finances with this person because that person thinks that you're going to attack them and assault them or fuck them up in some way. And that fucking up will blemish the whole status of perfection that they're trying to appear in for the world. Right. So what happens here is that the person gets so tired of dealing with so many different individuals on trying to get the big bag that he'll go ahead and go off the old statement: if you want something done right, you do it yourself. They'll end up doing it themselves, and then when they end up getting that big bag, they enjoy it like a motherfucker, because all of that silence that occurred while they were in the basement working and constructing the system to get the big bag, they started to enjoy that silence. They started to enjoy the new developments that came in the mind, the new ideas that came in the mind. And with that enjoyment, they built solidarity amongst themselves. So then when them finances come through, them niggas is happy than a motherfucker. You best believe it. You know, I was happy when my first little bag came through, and I'm gonna be happy when my next bag come through, because there will be a next bag coming. Do you understand? And when I'm gonna be sitting over here worried about, oh, I ain't got no friends and all this other shit, poverty. I mean, love and poverty only looks good in books, and that is a very real statement. You know what I'm saying? But love is supposed to keep you connected together, and when you are rich, things become optional. But for those who desire and require deep rooted connection, they'll never fall into that space. But you never know if the person that you're connected to has that same feeling. And people are, nowadays are based off of feelings more so than facts. So it's a very difficult space to be dealing with somebody at all, because you don't know what they're capable of, and you don't know what, how they may operate. You know what I'm saying? And there are things that are rooted to our nature that is not rooted to the rules of society. So that's basically, when you're in a relationship, you're not supposed to quote unquote cheat. Men have a higher desire to maintain their status of dominance instead of being restricted to one female, and they're going to go out there and conquer something. You know what I'm saying? And a woman will look at that as if you gave them your heart, because the woman's heart is involved with whoever she opens her legs to. You dig what I'm saying? And we're not talking about the classless, soulless whore. You dig what I'm saying? And you do have, well, I'm not even going to go down that lane right now, but that's what it goes into. You see, the real woman is going to think that you love her, you love the girl that you cheated with, more than you love her. And that's not the case at all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even buy this bitch a motherfucking Happy Meal. She didn't even get a goddamn dollar menu burger. And you think I'm loving this motherfucker. And I didn't spent thousands and thousands of dollars on you and all types of shit. We done been on vacations and everything. But if you allow an excuse, or you allow room for an excuse or a reasoning, people will do that. I mean, a lot of people come into your life looking for a reason to leave. The people come into your life looking for, flaws that doesn't match up with the entity of the Jesus in their mind that they're comparing you with, or that they may have seen you in that light when they first met you. And then when flaws become to appear during the course of this person being closer to you and being more involved with you, they're not going to look over the flaws. They're going to blame you for said flaws, and they're going to evacuate the premises. They're looking for an exit strategy or a reasoning for an exit. When no human on this planet is perfect, male or female, nobody's perfect. They all have their flaws. There's all little hidden little secret bullshit a motherfucker be doing, and all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? So the wisest thing about a relationship is going to be you loving that person's flaws. If you love a person's flaws, you just trumped everything. That is the trump card. Okay, is to love the flaws of that person, because you aren't in a space of any authority to be zero tolerant of another individual at all. Now, if a person's actions are detrimental or threatening towards your survival or your loved ones or you, then of course you have to make the right moves. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not a threatening act and you don't know where this act may have came from, it could be discussed, it can be rewired out of the mind. And then some things can't be rewired, and that's basically what goes on. I remember I heard it from a psychologist one time. He said basically a relationship is the man trying to get the woman to think like the man, and the woman trying to get the man to think like the woman. Oh my God. I damn near hit the floor because that's exactly what the fuck is going on. So, to love a motherfucker for who they are and what they are, and the things that they do, is important. So it's better to just go for the flaws. Now, me personally, when it comes to all of that extended family shit, man, I'm not trying to get involved with your family. Your family ain't got no authority line over here. There's not going to be any leniency or reliance, because family members are trying to get in on your relationship and thinking they could borrow money and thinking they could do this, or I need a place to stay. Can I lay on your couch type shit? All that type of shit. You keep the relationship very short and sweet, because that you show you have the atlas back to carry, the more people think that they can put their burden and weight on you. So if you show that you got a strong back, more people are going to come with the dumb shit. And all that dumb shit in that way is always going to be a ball and chain, you know. So it's always best to just, divide. That's why the old rule, you're supposed to get with your woman and leave the state, nigga, is what you do. You visit a motherfucker on holidays. And when you visit them on holidays, don't be coming up in here with all this blackity black, 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 black. We gonna be black and black forever with the Blackfoot Indian. Nigga, fuck all of that shit. Because them niggas can't provide you a goddamn thing. You know? They're not gonna assist you within shit or none of that, you know? And the one reason I'm so confident within saying that is because I've studied their minds, and you can see it within their actions today. you know um you can see it within their failure to keep their lands. You can see it and with the fact that the white man was able to pull a traitor out of anybody's group. How the white man was able to mix and mingle with anybody's group, and create all types of caste system rules and divisions and whatnot, and establish government. And so don't do that. That's today's message. Don't go out here making anybody mad, arguing about a bunch of dumb shit. If you want to study things about history and how things got to be where they're at right now, cool. Then you do that on your private time and in your private study. Because at the end of the day, those who tear down civilizations cannot build or maintain civilizations. And that is the point. Okay. So you can be as angry as you want. You can, they did me this way and I got fucked up this way. I got lied to this way, cheated on this way, so on and so forth. Take your licking and keep on ticking, because that is the rule and that's the rule of the land. That's the rule. Because unfortunately, as a black man or woman, you have no racial support. The black woman is better off than us because women, females by themselves are militarized and they have developed their own system of reliance. you know um so black males, we're out here on our own. you know we don't have a true system of reliance. you know um that's just the bottom line to it. So yeah, any questions, any statements or comments anybody want to make real quick before I go ahead and get up out of here? We might do a more focused thing on Samhain tomorrow and some ritualistic shit that went down in old Europe. Okay. You know, I don't want to get too detailed because it gets very volatile. And I didn't write this information with the intention of being racist. I know a lot of people may view me as that because of the title alone, but I'm not racist. I don't, none of that. I know that all people have high level potential to bring bullshit and lies your way. So I keep everybody at a distance. It doesn't matter black, white, blue, yellow, green. The amount of lies that we're living off of, and the amount of lies that have been put inside this society, and also in history and how history has been adjusted several times and augmented, and the amount of lies that's used in marketing and advertising, and the intentions to trick individuals to make a left or make a right. And I'm cool on all that shit. So humans across the board, I don't give a fuck who you are, male, female, green, blue, purple, whatever. I keep a specific type of distance line. I can't trust shit. And one reason is because I'm like an animal with his back against the wall. The only thing I can do is attack forward. And so I watch what the attack is. I watch who comes around me, all of that shit. And I expect you to do the same. I expect you to put up a very thorough screening process on whoever it comes around you, because from my personal experiences here in this Las Vegas, it is very clear that the devil will send a motherfucker at you, and they will be everything that you want, everything that they will say what you want to hear, and all of this other shit. And you will have to put down great screening process. And if you have the right questions and know what to look for during the course of that screening, it'll get rid of them. One thing that I've experienced a multitude of different times is that you when somebody comes into your life and you look up their name and you look up their name and their birth date, and you start getting a little bit detail on the matrix system that has designed them, they'll disappear. They can't hang around when you know the truth, because when you get all that information in the screening, you find the intent that they have, or the mission that they have for being in your life, and what they're supposed to complete. And they're supposed to complete that without you knowing. Okay, so you know, um, yeah, put down the screening process. I put down the screening process. I can't allow bullshit into my realm, into my life. I'm solo shit. When you ain't got no football team, you can't allow injury. When there's an injury, don't fuck around. You know. Oh yeah, and since I'm talking about it, I might as well put down my little prediction on what's gonna happen with the Steelers tonight. Y'all don't forget to donate to the guy 720. Okay, we building the empire right now. And what was it? The Steelers most likely are going to not win. They have their main dude is out. Their main quarterback is out. What's his name here? Let me see. Yeah, who is this nigga? Justin Fields. He's out on injury, so and he's the top earner. So don't go in on him. You can put up something on Russell Wilson, and how many yards he gonna be passing, because he's definitely gonna be passing some yards, because he's the only he's the quarterback runner up basically. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there just to let y'all know and get y'all ready for what's gonna go on at the moneyreligion.local. So yeah, we got any questions? We got anything anybody want to say here? Let me see here. Nobody is saying anything. It is a dead day. I'm gonna tell you right now. The energy today is very weird. I will say that. You know, nobody knows where this country is going, and nobody knows what the future holds. So, um, people are basically walking on thin ice, trying to keep everything, wide eyed. You gotta watch everything and watch all the movements of people nowadays, because man, motherfuckers be trying to be super slick out here, you know. But it feels good we got all the charlatans out of the conscious movement, I guess, right? And we don't have to deal with that bullshit no more. But those days are done, like I said. And me personally, I don't even introduce none of that shit to my children. I do not teach them nothing about um, the Islam or the Black Panthers. I mean, they've seen maybe a movie or two, but I don't be trying to gear them into that lane, because it's all failure. You failed, you failed, you failed, you failed, you failed. Every decade there's been 1 to 2 failures of this so-called black leadership shit. It's failure, you know. And you know, it's going to be that way. It's going to stay that way. There's no way that you can have that many failures and it isn't a problem with you. You know, if you got that many failures on your record, there is something psychologically wrong with you. You understand? Um, Joe Carr, you're gonna have to hit me up. Hit me up on the at my email, the guy 720 at Gmail, and we can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I definitely appreciate y'all coming in here today. I'm gonna be here tomorrow, same time, same place, 2 o'clock. Um, you know, well, what was some real shit? The brother Max said, "Damn, that was some real shit." What I just said about the failures, bro, is just a reality. It is the reality. You know, we've had billionaires and trillionaires. We've had billions of dollars. We've had all the fucking front line on the appearance, all the media exposure is what I meant to say. We've had all the media exposure, we've had all the billions, we've had all the millions, we've had lawyers, doctors, architects, engineers, we've had, you know, football players, basketball players, actors, actresses, we've had, you know, we've had these individuals, school teachers, school principals, board of education, government officials, high level military colonels and ranks and whatnot. And we haven't been able to develop any internalized reliance system for the black race or culture. And, you know, and it's been like that since the 1950s. And since that has been the repetitive record, it shows clearly that there's a psychological issue with black people overall. We did attempt and we did succeed in some of these areas of self-reliance on a small scale when it came to our many cities that we've had across America. We did not have proper military defense for these zones, and obviously we got eradicated, we got obliterated. Okay, but since there has been, and then the common thread about these failures is over sexual activity. Okay, so, and then just like a divorce, the what 90% of divorces are either over money or sex. You dig? So niggas got problems with the booty. The African nostril is too large. They look for great scent. Okay. And that is all they do when they stand behind the podium is they are looking for scent of the heavy hide on the backside of the black woman. And they think they want to do that with the sacred colorful scarves and beads and shit. Yeah, let me show you. Let me show you the brutal truth. It's time for a change. Let me show you Let me show you. When you look at Africa right now, you go down and you can look at Africa and they're still dancing around with beads on with their tits out, you know? They're still dancing around in beads with their tits out. And we got fucking, you know, submarines in the ocean. And we got planes that can fucking, you know, beat the speed of sound. You understand the level of ignorance and the level of defiance, you know, where your culture has done nothing. Your culture hasn't even done nothing for you, you know, because if your culture did do something for you, you would at least have an air condition in your hut. You understand? And you don't. So you've done no form of progression in the past 500 years while the whole planet has progressed. And there's still tribes in Africa to this day who are defiant towards any introduction of modernism. You understand? So is something wrong with the thinking of black people? It's not. Don't point the finger at anybody else being racist, because being racist is actually natural law. You don't see hawks trying to kick it with eagles. You don't see the fucking, you know, you don't see, what was another example? You don't see the zebra trying to kick it with the wildebeest, my nigga. You don't see, you know, the tiger shark or the hammerhead shark trying to kick it with the great white shark. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? Like, you don't see the red ants trying to build hills with the fucking black ants. You don't see that. So racism is actually biological. It is an understanding of survival. Okay, because you are to survive amongst your own, and black men cannot survive amongst their own. And that's because we decide not to. And it's just as simple as that. Everything on this planet is an option. It's a decision. You can either decide to get up here and talk about people in their fucking, what they got on their jacket, or what they did to get locked up, and who shot who, or you can decide to not talk about it. It's really that simple. It's all about your decisions. You know what I'm saying? And since I went down that lane real quick, this whole situation with Young Dirk, supposedly, or Little Dirk, supposedly, this nigga OTF Jam, um, his baby mother got killed while he was in jail, and because um, Lil Durk didn't ride for OTF Jam and get the murderers who murdered his baby mom, that nigga came out of jail and put on the wire and wore the wire for 2 years to take down the whole crew because you didn't look out for him. Even though when OTF Jam got out of jail, the nigga Lil Durk gave him 50,000. And I mean, that's something to put up. That's something to begin something for the children. And who knows? I can't necessarily say I care. And to me, it's a bunch of worthless niggas who made a bunch of worthless ass music. You have no classics underneath your belt. You will fucking disintegrate like the rest of the MCs that come from your time period because you're all fucking trash. And you've always been trash, and you will not continue to make trash. And that's why your music has not saved you. So when we look at individuals who come from my time period, the great Ice Cube, who just performed in front of the LA Dodgers, they did not look for a Smoke Dizza. They did not look for any of you fucking degenerates from the past 10, 20 years. They didn't. They went to 90s MCs for the Olympics. They chose the Snoop Dogg. And then it's very interesting on how they're choosing West Coast niggas. They're not over there fucking around with that weird shit y'all got going on the East Coast. Okay. They went and got Snoop Dogg for the Olympics. They went and got Ice Cube for the World Series. Isn't that astounding? We don't, out of all the MCs from the past 10, 20 years, we didn't pick a Future. We didn't pick a Little Wayne. We didn't pick come on, who's one of these other niggas? We didn't choose, who else? Who else? Come on, name some niggas. So many weird ass niggas. Smoke Purple or Orange the Juice Man. They didn't choose none of that garbage, nigga. That shit is not music. It is not clarity, you know. But yeah, so that's just what's going down. I want y'all to go ahead, hit up the moneyreligion.locals. If you want to discuss on the sports book, I would definitely love to see the way you look at it or the way you're thinking about it. We can definitely discuss. Just hit my email up, thegod720@gmail.com. Let me see if I can put it up. Donate, 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 donate. You're donating towards an empire that is slowly being built, brick by brick. Okay. Like I said on the song, I'm probably gonna play that song right now. Yeah, no Little Yachty. Yeah, exactly. And they didn't do the Little Yachty. Who's the other nigga? The little yeah, they didn't choose on none of them old weak ass niggas. You're not a survivor. Nobody want to be represented by no fucking weakness. That music is weak, and the motherfuckers who supported that weak ass shit is weak too, nigga. So and you can see it because they're not being called to perform their music anywhere. None of the littles, none of the youngs, none of that bullshit. You motherfuckers is whack. You don't have any fucking respect. You know what I'm saying? So nah. Your music gets no play. Not here, not now, or for the future. You understand me? Let the real MCs breathe on the motherfucking mic. Yeah, they didn't put no NY rappers get put up anywhere. And the reason being because y'all got problems with the booty that y'all niggas need to figure out. It's clear from the nigga, who is that nigga? The DJ on the radio station, Mr. C and African Bombada and the Diddy shit. Y'all niggas got problems up there to fix, motherfucker. Okay. For you come out here in this thing called hip hop, nigga. Because it looks like the West Coast niggas done took it. And they gonna remain with it. You understand me? That original down south, that dirty south, needs to come back up. My Texas niggas hold. You don't see none of that shit coming out. No Texas niggas neither. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, let me get the fuck up out of here, man. I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, if y'all want to talk on the sportsbook game, I'm definitely willing to share and compare notes before we start doing it on the moneyreligions.local. So let's do it. So I'm up out of here. I definitely appreciate y'all coming in today. Be here tomorrow. We're going to talk on some more elements of Halloween. It's going to be Halloween all week. We got to get the books out. The Kicked Out of Heaven. The real spirit of Halloween. If you really want some dark side, then you can do this. Kicked Out of Heaven. Especially the volume 2. If you can't do that, then you ain't fucking around. What app am I using to bet? That's an interesting question. I'll go ahead and answer that before I get up out of here. Let me show you something real quick. All of those are apps right there. Different sport betting apps. So William Hill, Boyd Sports, Caesar Sports, STN Sports. STN is something local in Vegas, and BetMGM and Circa Sports, and then also Win Sports. A lot of these are local apps that I can use. BetMGM is national. William Hill is national. So is Caesar's Sportsbook. And they're all live betting too, because that's all I do is live betting. I don't, I'll place bets before a game depending on the level of mathematics that's being used there. So, yeah, I'm up out of here. Definitely appreciate y'all for coming through. Cop some. I got deals going for Millennium DVDs. So if you want to cop a big order, you cop 30 DVDs for $100. You can give 10 DVDs to 3 different people, and that's 3 Christmas gifts. So focus on making people happy. That's what we're doing for Halloween. For the rest of this season, we're gonna focus on happiness. Make other people in your lives happy. Make sure that you're happy. I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm happy is something I'm gonna have to enforce. You understand me? Because my true happiness is found with an obedient female. You know what I'm saying? Female woman that knows what the fuck she doing. You understand me? A woman that's educated, which is a very hard thing to find. That too much information for the ladies will create great headache in the mind. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, let's focus on that. And I'm out of here. I will definitely see y'all tomorrow. What track did I say I was going to play? Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, let's see what we got here. What do I want? Did somebody request something? Okay, nah, somebody just said peace here. So yeah, let me go ahead and put something in the wind. And I'm out of here. Peace.
La paix de Dieu, la paix des lois, la paix de tout système qui engage. Wamba 72, tout Dieu de Afrique, des Caraïbes, servi 72. Des absents de protection sans qui tomber, esprit ça changé. Tout imité, tout instigé, perpétré. Yo tout comprendre mot ça yo. God a vinn prendre. Dormi bien. Nipsey Hussle. Dormi bien. Tout esprit qui est en bataille.
Peace and salutations for the times of tribulations. On the grind we never wait and shine the line on any nigga hesitating. Is it resignating yet? Better be careful where you're placing your bets or where them Stacey Adams step. In a puddle of quicksand, and when it comes to the bubble, I got Bisquick hands. I can't kick cans, my ounce in it. Your boy never fumble when it comes to the scrimmage. Mumble to the police and make them wonder who did it. The method to the madness. Weapons kept my pants sagging, diamonds kept me bragging. Mortuary toe tagging what it was, cause niggas only get angry about what they love. Let the doves cry, go above and beyond when the slugs fly. Let bygones be bygones, I ride along high. I just gotta survive and make it to the greatest. While they underestimate his green paper come from future vapors. Straight out of the sewer, the truest anti-loser that ever grew up from the manure. A dandelion with a handy iron, pyromaniac firing. Sleep when you rest in peace, cause these streets are sick and tired. We eat with the devil's fork and steak knives, and then we sit back and watch these streets take lives. We eat with the devil's fork and steak knives, and then we sit back and watch these streets take lives. We eat with the devil's fork and steak knives, and then we sit back and watch these streets take lives. We eat with the devil's fork and steak knives, and then we sit back and watch these streets take lives. Shouts out to my nigga Nipsey Hussle. I see his face when I make a Ouija board out of my whiskey bubbles. BG never gave a fuck about getting in trouble. When your mind whispers in your ear that no one loves you, don't trust fools, better bust through. Duct tape on the handle of a dirty 32. Objects appear bigger in the rear view. Get a preview of your life before your lights turn to night. We start with a crocodile's bite. Just because of my plight, my bitch gave me some Chuck Taylors. Nigga don't need no favors. Spit in the face of the majors. They wonder how I'm getting this paper. Mind your business. They wanna be a witness these days until the innocent bystanders get sprayed. Lazy ass citizens in the gangster way, trying to tweet about the game we play. It's the concrete these 2 feet gon' stay. I'm solo mobbing in a 2-seated Chevrolet. We eat with the devil's fork and steak knives, and then we sit back and watch these streets take lives. We eat with the devil's fork and steak knives, and then we sit back and watch these streets take lives. We eat with the devil's fork and steak knives, and then we sit back and watch these streets take lives. We eat with the devil's fork and steak knives, and then we sit back and watch these streets take lives.
You're in my world now!
We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. We battle with the gods under 1,000,000 stars. There's lion blood in my chalice, a goat heart in the balance. I speak in italics, discussing these chances. In the Eiffel Tower of Paris, by chariot, the color is metallic. A wonderland to Alice, it's all blunder and malice. Best talent that's combined with magic. Behind the static, there's voices in the shadow. The only choice is battle. Hop into Hellcat and skedaddle. They're watching King Kong climb the Tower of Babel. Ignore every Eve trying to give me an apple. The little rascal that can't be canceled. In the courtyard of my castle, these hens doing nothing but cackle. Now they walking in my chapel with candles that's lit. Definitely with the shits, cause we handle it. Comet with the building that is brick by brick. Old Mac, big head, can't tell me shit. Capoeira with the spiral kick, spit hieroglyphs when the tyrants sit at the Coliseum. Whether spies or allies, I know them when I see them. Greet them with an olive branch, that's for the treason. Watch Pocahontas rain dance for the season. Is he still breathing after the execution? They blame spirits and start the accusing, and then survive every disaster and delusion. Supreme mathematics, the author of confusion. Niggas be cheating and they still losing. Bones in my blank keep me me tuned and influenced by the moon sin. A lunatic in the truant skin, a boogeyman with a heart like a ruby gem. A whirlwind, I twirl in the middle of tornadoes. Between riddles and fables, keep my Glock on the table. Shot of scotch keeps me stable. Watching divas belly dance with diamonds in their navel. We rode on sound waves that was wavy for a label. And while you getting hung by the TV cable, I was ready and able. The black amour that raised you from the grave to the cradle. We battle with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars.